Okay, welcome everyone as we learn the Mishna Yomis for this Motzai Shabbos, heading into Purim, and dedicated by the Fisher family, Lila Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Pero Bas Ruvain, and the Neshama should have an Aliyah. We also dedicated Lila Nishmas David ben Chaim, L'Refur Shalem and Fel Yomis ben Kerisos, Yaakov ben Basi Leah, for the Schus of Avram and Yom Benish ben Malk Yudis and family, by Yod Klugman and family. We learn L'Refur Shalem for Avigdor Aya ben Rivka in the Bas Kerisos, Yitzchak ben Siyam ben Dusha, Rivka bas Shira Leah, Moshe Meir ben Esther Fradel, Chana bas Shoshabina, L'Refur Shalem for Shendel Zisel, Shendel Tzipor Zisel Basara, Rachel Basara, Aaron ben Tzara, Nachmi Yaakov ben Tzara, Yochai ben Ruchama, L'Refur Shalem for Meir ben Chayasara. They should have a L'Refur Shalem b'Sech Shachar Yisrael. So we know that if we have a suffix, if a person does a Chil Shabbos b'Shoigeg, he brings a Chatzis. If it's a suffix, he brings an Ashim Tali. What about if you have a suffix if you committed Me'ilah? For Me'ilah there's no Chatzis, there's an Ashim. What if you have a suffix whether you trespassed on Hektish? So Rabbi Kiva says a big Kiddush, that there's an Ashim Tali not just for a suffix of a Chatzis, but also for a suffix of an Ashim. Rabbi Kiva Mechayev al Sveik Milas Ashim Tali. The Chachamim Paitim. The Chachamim say no. There's only an Ashim Tali on a suffix of a Chatzis, whether about Chaylev, Noiser, Dam, Pigel, Achaisai. There's no Ashim Tali on a suffix of an Ashim Milah. Umayda Rabbi Kiva says, now when a person benefits from Hektish, B'Shoigeg, if he does it for sure, he has to do two things. He has to bring an Ashim, and he also has to compensate Hektish and add a fifth. But a Maida Rabbi Kiva Shein maybe as Milah, so he doesn't have to give the compensation unless he's sure that he did it. So in the case of doubt, he doesn't have to give the compensation. All he has to do is bring an Ashim Tali. Once he knows for sure, then he gives the compensation, V'yavi ima Ashim Vade, and then he brings an Ashim Vade. So Reb Tarfon says there's a trick. You don't have to bring two karbanos. When you're not sure, just give the compensation and bring one carbon and stipulate. If you did it, then it should be your Ashim Vadai, and you gave the compensation in the fifth. If not, then the money you gave is a donation, and the carbon is an Ashim Tali, because you're not sure. So Amar Rabbi Tarfon Malazeh maybe shtei Hashamis. Why does he have to bring two? Eliyavi Mila v'chum. She'll let him give his compensation in the fifth. V'yavi Ashim b'shnei slam, and bring an Ashim for two slam and stipulate. V'yami im vadei ma'alti. If I did it for sure, so zu milasi, this is the compensation. V'zeh Hashamin, this is my Ashim vadei. V'im suffik, but if I'm in doubt, then Amos Nadav, the most that I gave is a donation. V'ashim Tali, and this carbon is an Ashim Tali, because it's the same carbon that brings the Ashim Tali as an Ashim Vadai. Sheminshu maybe al haida, the type of carbon you bring if you're sure is maybe al haida, is the same carbon that you bring if it's a doubt. So you can stipulate. So Amalei Rabbi Kiva. So Rabbi Kiva says, you know what? Nirim dvarecha b'mila mu'etes. I would agree with you, where the only thing that you benefit was a small benefit. You benefited a shava pruta. So there, it makes sense to give a shava pruta in the fifth, and say that the carbon is a stipulation, because if it's vada, it's a carbon vada. If it's a suffix, then the money is a donation. But Hari Shabal Yadka Suffolk Mila B'Meya Mana. But if you benefited maybe 100 mana, so you would have to give 100 mana plus a fifth of that. It's not kedai to give all of that and then say it's a donation to save money on an animal. To save money on an ashim that's worth 2 slum, V'al yavi safek mila b'mei mana, and have to give 100 mana just as a donation. So the Gemara says yes, but we see that essentially Rabbi Akiva agrees with Rabbi Tarfon's eitzah if it would be a small amount of money. Rabbi Akiva to Rabbi Tarfon b'mila mu'etes if it would be a small amount of money. Now the final case of the Mishnah is ha'isha she'evia chatas ha'oif safek. Is a case where a woman had a miscarriage. She's not sure if it's viable. Now she has to be able to bring a carbon to be able to eat kachim and enter in the mikdash in case it was viable. So we allow her to bring a chatas ha'oif for doubt. Now, so she brings a chatas ha'oif safek. Before they do the malika, the doctor says, yeah, it was a viable pregnancy. Im actually nimlika noidala sheyolda vaday. It was known to her that it was a definite pregnancy. Then te'asena vaday, it could be shifted, and it should be her regular chatas oif that she has to bring for a definite pregnancy, because it's both the same type. Sheminshi mevia aloyida. The type that she brings, if it's a suffix, is mevia aloyida, is the same type if she brought it, if it's definite. So therefore, if she realizes it before if she realizes it before they do the malika, so she could shift it to her regular chiyuv carbon chatas ha'oif. Again, we want to remind you that the schedule for the daf is Sunday night. There will be a double daf, and Monday shir will be at the unusual time of 5:45 between Mincha and Ma'ariv of Tanas Esther, and Tuesday shir will be 8:45, and then the rest of the week back to normal at 8 o'clock. Dailygiving.org, be a part of it. You'll never regret it. It'll be a investment forever, everyday investment forever. And we are looking for a sponsor for this week's share, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Have a good tavach, everyone.